I mean, the guy who got the first Neuralink says he can play Civ 4 with it.
I mean, have we just solved all the world's problems? You can just sit and play video games all day because of Neuralink?
Sorry, I was doing a thing.
Yeah, you were just... Sorry, that was my Neuralink. I was searching the internet for answers.
God, the first time someone gets their Neuralink hacked will be William Gibson was right, you know? All right, and hello, and welcome to Basement Faults and Catapults. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I'm Trevor.
And here we're going to be looking at games, genres, and the things that we enjoy in gaming.
And to do that, we're going to randomly select a genre each episode.
We'll give a brief rundown of that genre.
And then we'll select 2 games. One of these games will be the absolute best in show, while the other, for whatever reason, is not very good. The catch, and what we hope will be the fun part, is that neither of us will have played, or at least played heavily, any of the titles that the other has selected.
Yeah, and as we're taking these titles, the best and the worst, and then we're going to divide them up. We'll give it an hour of playtime, and we'll meet back up and chat about our experiences.
Where we'll give our own opinions of the other's game, celebrate where we agree, and refrain from murdering each other where we disagree. After all, not everyone can have a perfect opinion.
And that's it. We hope that you'll join us, listen in, maybe be inspired to try a few titles along the way, or, let us know exactly why our opinions are trash.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, show your respects to Akira Toriyama every March 1st with a spirit bomb.
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha.
And as always, the Excel document of fate.
It feels so cheap to call it an Excel document, but it is honest and it is true. It is
It's
literally
just
an Excel document filled with formulas and functions and genres.
I'm looking at it right now.
I did make one improvement to the document. Yeah, the other day I was dorking around with it and I figured every time I save, it would recalculate. So I modified the settings so it will calculate now when we hit calculate.
Oh, and you know what? Hold on. I am going to pull up a random D20 number generator here.
Oh, D20. You know what? Oh. Where are my D20 dice? Do you want to do this with an actual dice?
Let's do it with
an actual dice. Okay.
Trevor is briefly stepping away from the recording studio to find an actual dice.
I'm going on temporary hiatus.
Which means you're stuck with me. And who knows what nonsense I'll get up to. I might. You know what? Don't tell anybody. I'm going to sneak in a new genre. I'm going to sneak in party games. I'm not going to tell Trevor. Shh, it's our secret. But let's move on. As we're waiting for Trevor, let's chat briefly about why we are doing this. I know that I'm really interested in doing this solely as an outlet to kind of create something and reach out to people and see what they want to listen to and what they want to hear. So I'm really glad that you're here listening, and thank God Trevor's back. We don't have to talk anymore. I have this exact dice set.
Well, of course you do, because why would we have any differences of opinion?
I don't have this dice set though. This is a pretty one. I like this one.
I think
but I have that one.
The black and red one was for me. I think that one I bought for my wife, but I do enjoy both.
I bought the black and red one for a warlock I was running, Pact of the Old Ones. All right, well, I got the D20 in hand. I am going to do an eagle claw roll. If you know, you know.
Let's do it.
That is a 19.
19. We're going to hit this calculate button 19 times. Holy, okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Souls-like.
Souls-like.
You have landed on Souls-like.
That's too bad. I mean, yay!
Yay! Who hasn't played Elden Ring for like at least 20 hours and then give it up because it's too hard?
I was corrected on a fact that we had said a few episodes earlier regarding Souls-like. I had said something like Dark Souls was the first Souls-like. No, Demon Souls.
Demon Souls.
Yeah, and if we want to be really pedantic, what the Souls-like games are, Team Ninja sort of created originally in the Ninja Gaiden series.
Ninja Gaiden. Oh,
Ninja Gaiden Black for the Xbox, and then of course it's subsequent things. But like the groundwork for what Souls-like would become, extremely punishing combat, would be obviously
impossible to win games.
Yeah. Was the Ninja Gaiden series.
It's funny that you mentioned Ninja Gaiden because I'm going to let my age show for a minute. But I remember when I was about 6 or 7 years old. My mom was leaving on an airplane, and they had the old tabletop, the flat top TV set games, like arcade style games in the airport, and one of them was Ninja Gaiden. And I think that was the first game that I ever saw. I was probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 years old.
Oh, like in the old cabinet machines?
Yeah, and it was like this, but it was like a flat tabletop, like you could eat on it, basically. It was just a clear top, and then the TV was kind of, you'd be looking down on it. And it was Ninja Gaiden. So, yeah, it's kind of cool that that has come up.
I don't know if Dragon's Dogma counts as a Souls-like. I'm sure there's some divisive comments there, but I really did enjoy the Dragon's Dogma series. So I'm very excited there's a Dragon's Dogma 2.
Well, I think, unfortunately, the last episode, I had you play the really crappy horror game Shrieking Darkness.
Shrieking Darkness.
And I shouldn't say crappy. I don't want to crap on people's games, but
I did. I was very, very unfavorable to the game.
The less than satisfactory amateur entry, let's call it that.
Yeah. And everyone's got to start somewhere, and I don't want to discourage anybody. If you're going to make a game, absolutely put it out there.
Make the game.
Do it. Just if you make a bad game, be aware that it's a bad game, and accept the criticism and do better.
Right?
Because we want to see you do better. And succeed.
So Souls-like, you're going to pick me a not-so-good Souls-like.
Oh, I already know which one I'm picking for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Already? Wow.
Yeah, Lords of the Fallen. It's trash.
Is it?
Yeah, I looked up.
Lords of the Fallen, it's not very good. It's also an $80 game.
Oh, what? Okay, then scratch that. I'm not... No,
it's
way in hell.
Cool. I can just reimburse.
Refund it.
I mean, that's cool.
$80? I will...
Wow.
I will stand here in front of God and man and tell you that I literally just Googled worst Souls game.
Well, let me look at Lord of the Fallen and let's find out what the Steam rating is on it at the very least. I mean, we want to explore this genre, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Mixed ratings. Hey, Lords of the Fallen.
Only mixed? No, I need negative.
Yeah, that's not bad enough.
That's not bad enough.
No, it's not a bad enough game
this. Are you a bad enough
for this high quality podcast? We need the worst games ever made.
We need not just a steaming pile of dung. We need ET levels.
Yeah, basically it looks like it was an Elden Ring competitor that just couldn't compete.
Yeah.
I think that's why it got some rough ratings there. So let's look at... I've got to pick a good Souls-like for you. Now, you've played
I've played Dogma. I haven't played Dogma 2 yet, but it's also $95, so like...
Ooh, boy.
And then I've also played Bloodborne.
Fair enough. For some reason, Jedi Survivor is coming up as a Souls-like. I would definitely disagree with that, very much so. Again, these arbitrary things where people can just put in whatever category they think their game falls under.
Right? Because for the most part, is there... Okay, I got this ranked by user review, but can I have it in descending?
Remnant 2 is on my wish list. Death's Door is on my wish list. But is Death's Door actually a Souls-like? No, it just says action adventure RPG. Man, Steam, you got to get better at when I say Souls-like. You got to know what a Souls-like is. Lies of P.
You know what? I've heard of it. It was interesting to me. I think I've seen maybe 15 minutes of play. So other than that, I can't speak to it.
Oh, Blasphemous 2 is an adventure combat Metroidvania Souls-like.
Obama boss fight? What? What is this?
Would you say Hollow Knight is a Souls-like?
I mean, I would put Hollow Knight in more of a Metrovania.
And it is. They've got it under Metroidvania Souls-like, so it's not primarily a Souls-like.
And I guess to an extent, with that caveat, I would also suggest the Souls-like genre really only became a genre because of its difficulty curve.
Right.
Like a lot of it is just open world exploration. A lot of it is just like that Metrovania. You can't progress until you get the power up kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, feel free to argue with me.
Haha, no, I would never do that. No, you're wrong.
Kingdom the Blood. Kingdom the Blood is an action game based on the popular TV series already variable. Fight through intense battles and reach your goal in zombie-infested Hosan. See the beauty of Korea as you overcome challenges.
So I've got to ask, did you play Dark Souls 3?
Dark Souls 3... I don't believe I have.
Check if Dark Souls 3 is in your Steam list, because Dark Souls 3 is actually rated quite high. And it could
No, I don't have Dark Souls. I don't have any of the Dark Souls
Well,
games.
then Dark Souls 3, my friend, is going to be the game you're going to be playing. And I can tell you from my own experience, I've played for about an hour and I couldn't get past the first boss.
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
I love everything about that.
So you can just play that on my Steam library and you don't need to buy anything.
Oh, well, there's that. I mean, I was just going to return the game, but yeah.
Right? It's like our two accounts just all of a sudden have this spike in refunds every Friday.
every other week. Because generally speaking, the Yogg Saphos Yard? This isn't a Souls-like. This is like a tactics. You should not... Oh, it's also an RPG dating sim visual novel. What is happening?
What is happening?
Steam, get your together.
It's like, Steam, we want to see... We're searching Souls-likes and we're getting like really weird entries, man.
I mean, Lilith wants to buy my soul. Well, all right.
Well, there's VR Souls-likes too. Oh, I can't wait till we do a VR episode.
Right.
We're going to have so much fun because there's so many VR games I want you to play. So I refuse to give you a bad game when it's VR.
When it's VR, you'll actually refuse?
We'll both just play a good one.
We'll just play a good one. That can be our, like, we earned.
Right, we earned this.
Tentacles of Submission. God damn it.
Damn.
Steam, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Huntsman, the Orphanage Halloween Edition.
Hey, oh my god, there's an anime god game called Hitler Hates Anime. Like, what?
Oh yeah, no, there's also like a Hitler dating simulator.
Oh my god.
It gets woof.
Just when you think the internet can't get weirder.
Yeah, no, it does. Oh, it's a good thing I checked that because it was looking like a winner. And then I saw some of the tags. I was like, oh no, I can't. We can't. We could probably play that on Catapults After Dark, but
yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll do a Catapults After Dark episode where we play MA18 games.
There's a Souls-like called Your Sword Is So Big.
Oh, jeez. Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
What is happening? Are people just that horny? Like, is that the world we live in now?
There's an entire subset of the internet that literally is just made for people who spend far too much time purchasing bulk hand lotion from Costco.
Hold on. I think I found it. Viking Warrior is a third-person action role-playing game. It is made in famous Dark Souls style where everything is dark and difficult. Explore this game as a Viking Warrior now.
Nice. And what is it rated?
Negative at 17 reviews.
Okay.
It's 84 cents.
Oh.
So you know what?
That's my kind of game.
I'll buy it for you.
That's my kind of crappy game.
That's my kind of crappy game. I'll just buy it on my account right now. Yeah, well, it's made in Unreal Engine, so it's gonna be pretty at least, right?
Oh my gosh, if it's that poorly rated and it's in the Unreal Engine, they must have just like not put assets in there.
Also, and I am. This is where I encourage people to please proofread your stuff. If you're not very good at writing things, spend the extra money and hire a writer.
Yeah, good advice.
Because here's the description about this game. We, which is a plural, were inspired by Dark Souls game, and it was created by one man only. So already, who's we? But we is one. Become one of the last of the magic warriors and stop dark forces. A long, long time ago, more than memory can recall. It was a time when magic still ruled the world. We were the great tribe in the north. We were the ancestors of the Vikings and used the magic to prosper and build our fabulous civilization.
So Souls-like. So you're going to be playing Dark Souls 3. And what was the title of that one again?
Viking Warrior. Since we're just hot swapping, I've already picked it up on my Steam account.
All right, so Dark Souls 3, I'll give a quick introduction, and then you can do the same for yours. Let's see, Dark Souls 3. So if we run over to the store page, Dark Souls 3, of course, was developed by the infamous From Software.
Yeah.
Bringing us such notable titles that destroy and kill us, like Elden Ring recently. And they describe it, they just essentially say, Dark Souls continues to push the boundaries with the latest ambitious chapter in the critically acclaimed and genre-defining series. Prepare yourself and embrace the darkness.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it's pretty cool. I think that, it's been rated like super ultra high. IGN rated it 9.5 out of 10. PC Gamer 94%. Game Informer 9.25 out of 10.
Amazing.
Winner of the Gamescom Award 2015 Best RPG.
Wow.
And I couldn't get past the first hour.
People love this game.
People love this game. This is like critically acclaimed, 89%. Like everybody loves this game. It's one of the highest rated games on Steam for sure.
That is, yes, so happy to hear it. And I really love the lore. I love the lore of the Souls-like series. Like it's dark, it's mysterious. You kind of have to discover it as you go.
Yeah.
There's a very famous YouTube video from years and years ago where it's like, did you know that Dark Souls has some lore? Well, now you do, and here it is in 5 minutes. And like they're talking about like, man, being a dragon's amazing. Except for Cease. Bitch got no legs. No legs happen. Right? And it was hilarious, and that was probably the most I've ever interacted with the Souls series.
Fair enough.
Other than, of course, Bloodborne.
Well, some of the reviews on Steam are pretty amazing and kind of humorous. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name. Yeah, I am. Correndual66 has...
Correndual66.
Highly recommends, says, I do crystal meth, 11 out of 10.
Thank you. Good for you.
Teasy says, better than Elden Ring. Better than Elden Ring. So that's cool.
Better than. I mean, Elden Ring was a little divisive amongst the hardcore fans because it was a little easier, a little more accessible to the average player, which I think was in their favor. But I guess some of the diehard Souls players felt a little betrayed. Yeah,
I mean, Elden Ring, the thing that I had against Elden Ring, and I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I got my money's worth out of it, so I'm not upset. But it was the lack of a clear direction, the lack of a clear story. When I play a single player game that's story driven, I like The Witcher 3, I like Skyrim,
Witcher 3,
right? Oblivion, and pretty much any of the Elder Scrolls, because I'm just an Elder Scrolls fanatic.
Despite Todd Howard, yes.
yes. Yeah, I mean, Starfield, trust me, I've got a lot of hours out of Starfield.
He has way too many hours.
I played thousands of hours of Skyrim, and I'm kind of done with Starfield, and I'm not even at 200 hours yet. So we'll see. But Elden Ring, the lack of a story, the lack of clear direction, for me, for a single player game, it was like, well, what am I supposed to do? What are my objectives? Where am I supposed to go? And I loved like getting better loot, getting better weapons, but I just had the progression was very difficult. You go right across the bridge, and there's a guy that's way too powerful for you to be, tossling with at that point, and he just kicks your butt. And so you kind of wander around aimlessly for a lot in the game, and I don't like wandering around aimlessly. Like you talk about, like we were talking Factorio, Satisfactory. There's a lot of walking around, but it's not aimless, right?
Way too many moments, however, and especially Factorio, because I'm playing through a space exploration playthrough right now, is I'll run, I'll build up a big mall, and I'm like, yeah, go. And then I'm like, shit, I forgot something. I'll have to run back to the old mall, forget what I was doing.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. I prefer, I don't want my hand held. Like, I don't want you to go, okay, go here now. Okay, go here now.
Follow the waypoint. Yeah, I hate that too.
But I do like having not just a clearly stated objective, but 2 or 3 different ways that are very clear about how to achieve that objective.
Right.
right?
Yeah, or at least like point me in the right direction.
Yeah. Two or three, and then maybe there's a fourth one that if I'm really kind of digging hard, I'll find.
Yeah.
That and there's that sense of, oh, I found this way, but the designers didn't think of that, and the designers sitting there going, yeah, of course we thought of that. We programmed it in.
Yeah.
But it feels good to do that, and I appreciate that. But the hard for hard's sakes, I have a hard time liking. So we'll see how I do with the Demon Souls, and I'm excited for it because it cannot be overstated how important these games have become and what they've done for the gaming environment. And like they're like we were saying in an earlier episode, if your series is so influential that they name the genre after you, right? You have your Doom clones, you have your Metrovanias, you have your Souls-likes, right? Like these are that influential.
Yeah, and speaking of Metroidvania and Metroid, I am going to, one of these episodes, challenge you to a Super Metroid speedrun playthrough. It can be done in under 2 hours. It can be done.
Only if it's a randomizer.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'm in. Let's do it.
I've never played Super Metroid. I unfortunately started playing Metroid in the GameCube for Prime.
Prime.
That was when I first...
Prime was really cool.
That was my first Metroid.
Yeah, Prime looked great. I mean, for its time, it was so good. But yeah, so that's Dark Souls 3 in a long roundabout nutshell.
You, on the other hand, my friend, are going to be doing Viking Warrior.
Nice. Introduce us to Viking Warrior.
Hi. Let's introduce you.
Hi, I'm a Viking warrior.
Hi, I'm a Viking warrior.
I like raping, pillaging, and horny helmets.
Yeah. It's a very short blurb. 5 unique environment worlds. Fearsome enemies. Big bosses. Different type of attacks. Swords. Archery. And, in all capitals, magic.
I mean, I'm all for the magic, to be honest.
Yeah, I enjoy a fun spellslinger build. One of my favorite, like we were talking Elder Scrolls, but in the, I want to say Morrowind or Oblivion, might have been Morrowind, you have to pick your class, and it wasn't like the classes were locked in, but when you picked a class, it was Oblivion. When you pick the class, it gives you sort of starting stats.
Right.
And you can build how you want from there. But my absolute favorite style has always been what they called the Battle Mage, which was one-handed sword and spell.
Yeah, that's always good.
That was the way I played. No defense, pure glass cannon.
I used to think that Battle Mage was like my go-to for any kind of magic build, but then I discovered in Skyrim, if you get really heavy into Skyrim, like I mean obsessively so. And you get in and you get all of your alchemy potions and all of your smithing potions, and you go and you build the best armor and the best outfits and the best enchantments on your armor. You can get to the point where you can literally sit there you unlock the best lightning spell, and you can literally sit there and just Kamehameha the entire game, and you're just like, wah, and you just shoot lightning out of your hands in a giant wave, and it just kills everything in 5 seconds.
I only have 195.3 hours in Skyrim.
Fair enough.
Only.
I mean, that's pretty good though. That is, however, not long enough to unlock all the smithing potions and all the alchemy potions and all the
I no shame, full disclosure, at least 60 of those hours is me building my house.
Yep. Yeah, when Hearth and Home, I think it was.
Yeah, Hearth and Home came out.
I think that was what it was called. When that came out, it was
and then
like 20, 30 hours of I'm going to build my house.
Yeah, I built my house. I married what's her name from the Hunters Guild or the Companions Guild?
Lydia?
No, Lydia's your first.
Lydia's the first one.
Your first.
The Companions.
Shield something.
I mean, we got to go down this rabbit hole now.
Yeah.
Skyrim,
Hot werewolf lady.
Hot werewolf lady. Yes.
Ayla the Huntress. There we go. Found her.
Ayla the Hunter. Yes.
Yep.
That's very cool. See, I went a different route. I found, and this was me in my younger years, but I don't like the fact that there's NPCs that you can't romance. And so
You gotta go for them all.
Nadia in was it Nadia? I'm trying to remember now. I don't even remember the name of the city anymore, but it wasn't Nyaja. Anyway, there's one of the cities in the I want to say the top left section of the map. It's one of the like big cities where there's like dwarven ruins and stuff like that.
Oh, the Dwemer Ruins? Yeah.
The Dwemer Ruins, yeah. And she works like at one of the stores, but she's not romanceable. And so I went out of my way to bypass the game and find the mods for the game that allow you to make anyone romanceable.
Oh man!
Just because I was like, boom, this is the one.
See, with the Bethesda series or any Bethesda series games, like don't get me wrong, I really love the games. I have so many hours in Fallout. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, which wasn't really Bethesda, but that's besides the point. Fallout 4, Skyrim, Morrowind, Oblivion, like all of those. I have way too many hours and I love the game, but Bethesda games for me have almost always been half what they made and half what the community made.
Yeah.
Like the mod scene, the mod communities are just amazing.
Well, Bethesda being one of my favorite studios for a long, long time. Now we're going to switch over to something different. From Software. From Software. Which studio did Viking Warrior? I mean, credit where credit's due. If you published a game, you've done more than anyone who hasn't.
Exactly, and we're very proud of you. Developer, Viking Warrior. Publisher, Viking Warrior.
Okay.
So, this is a lot like when an artist drops a self-titled LP. So yeah, good on you. Good on you, Viking Warrior. I'm proud of you.
So,
this came out in 21.
One more thing that I want to emphasize is what is a Souls-like?
What is a Souls-like?
I mean, what is a Souls-like? We all know Dark Souls. We all know
it's a hard-as game.
So our Wikipedia.
Hey, have you donated?
Long back I've donated. I feel like I've done my part.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a while though.
I chip in like $3 a year.
I do believe that Wikipedia helps keep both good and bad information floating through the internet in equal stride.
I'm a firm believer in free information. So
a Souls-like is a subgenre of action role-playing games known for its high levels of difficulty and emphasis on environmental storytelling. Typically, it's dark fantasy. It has its origins in Demon Souls, like you mentioned.
So, with that definition, would you perhaps consider Dead Space a Souls-like?
Dead Space is not that difficult, and it's less environmental storytelling and more.
Those little audio pickups you grab, okay.
Yeah, I think they do give you quite a bit of immersive story. But you know what? You play it on the hardest difficulty. I'll give you that. Yeah. They also kind of say the themes and mechanics of which directly inspired by several other games. Souls-like games developed by From Software themselves have been specifically referred to as Soulsborne games. Interesting. To kind of
because of Souls and Bloodborne.
Kind of a nod to Bloodborne. Yeah. So very cool, very cool. And so I mean, you could just say, well, it's like Dark Souls, but I figured we'd delve a little deeper. So pretty much any game that is extremely hard that gives you nothing to go on for story is a Souls-like.
See, now, I'm a big fan of roguelike games, which are, of course, called roguelike because of the original, I want to even say it was like an ASCII game called The Rogue, where your progress is the game is intentionally difficult, progress is gated. If you die, you start over with a new character. There is some meta progression, like you've unlocked 16 of your special currencies, so you can start a little bit better this time. But for me, a roguelike game was always about chasing that perfect run through. And it looks like Souls-likes aren't quite that. Yeah,
I do enjoy a good roguelike. I mean, there's something to slow and eventual progression and the need to accept the fact that you're going to lose. I think for me, when I was a young child,
just just a baby.
Just a baby. Learning to lose was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Learning that you can't be the best at everything. Learning that you can't just win and that everything isn't just easy. I always found most things to be very easy. I still kind of do. But when I run into something that is genuinely a challenge and genuinely difficult, I'm like, no, I can do this. I can win. I can beat this. So like, I did not enjoy Elden Ring. I know a lot of people did. I got my money's worth out of it, but my heart rate probably wasn't below 130 beats per minute the whole time I'm playing it, because it's
stressed.
It's just frustrating the heck out of me, which drives me to be like, no, this is beatable and I can do it. I can overcome the challenge. So it's fun in that sense, but it's a very stressful fun. And it's a little bit different from something like a Stardew Valley, where you're like, I'm going to grow some onions,
Onions, hey, onions are not the meta crop. You should be growing pumpkins and pumpkins.
Pumpkins and turn them into jack-o'-lanterns.
I actually don't know what the meta crop is in Stardew Valley, because I'm with Trevor. I just I grow. It's fun. Yeah, come on, man.
I haven't played Stardew.
I like strawberries. I grow strawberries.
I'm gonna do another Stardew playthrough. I think.
Yeah.
Probably this year. We'll see.
Well,
I like it.
They just released 1.6, which introduced a bunch of new things. I know for a fact that for the OCD purists in us all, now your jam or preserve that you make will actually reflect the color of its ingredient. So you'll have blueberry jam, strawberry jam.
I like that. Yeah, I heard there was actually one of my friends was mentioning that they just released this like giant wrap-up update that kind of like is the end-all be-all of updates for Stardew Valley.
Well, I mean, I there's a lot. There is a lot, but Concerned Ape, Eric Baran, I think, has gone on record as saying he's probably never going to be done with Stardew Valley, right?
Yeah.
There'll always be little things and that they'll want to add as they progress. But here we are. We're playing some Dark Souls. You're playing some Viking Warrior.
Let's do it.
We're going to do a hot swap here. I'm really going to enjoy the chair. You have such a comfortable chair.
It's a little high up, but it does the job.
I didn't disconnect because I'm a selfish bastard.
Selfish bastard.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh.
You're selfish. I'm cheap. It works out.
It works out. There's the mouse. Play.
All right, man. So Viking Warrior. I have a screenshot here I'm going to show you that this pretty much sums up my entire gameplay experience. So Viking Warrior. So you get into the game. It's got a basic magic system. You get like a bow and arrow, an axe, fireball, whirlwind, explosion, teleport, and heal. And you start off and it loads up. The graphics aren't great. I mean, for an Unreal Engine game, the graphics are quite bad. They're clearly just recycled assets. No one actually put any effort into designing anything for this game. I am certain of it. I think they started with the intent of designing the world and started kind of putting in buildings and the castle and tried to decorate the place up a little bit. Melee combat doesn't work. It's completely non-functional.
But you're a Viking warrior. That's the whole point.
Right. Yeah, you'd think so. Bow and arrows, same thing, didn't work. I'd shoot bow and arrows at the guys and they would just deflect every time. Like it was impossible to hit anybody with an arrow. Fireballs didn't do enough damage to do anything. You just ran out of mana. And they healed so quickly that the fireballs did nothing.
Oh man.
I finally figured out how to kill all of the enemies in the map by using the whirlwind. Because it kind of moves along with you. So I would just cast it in front of me and walk backwards and it would just kill all the enemies.
Okay, but that's cheese.
Totally, but you had to cheese it. There's no other way.
Oh, wow.
So I literally cheesed all the bad guys, walked up to the castle, cheesed the guy in gold armor at the gates of the castle, at the end of the drawbridge. And then nothing happened. And there was nothing to do. There was nowhere to go.
So you beat the game.
So, and there were like maybe 14 bad guys total, and then you're just kind of out of stuff to do. The world was completely empty other than that.
But it said 5 unique environments.
Yeah, I don't know how to get to environment number 2. I killed everything on the map. There was nothing of interest on the map at all. I walked right up to the castle. There was nothing to do at the castle, nothing to fight at the castle. in general, I see this as being a game that a beginner developer kind of said, I'm going to try to build something. Or a cheese company showed up and said, we're going to just copy some assets out of some other games and just pump out, a junk game that's just going to be on Steam and we'll hope that enough people buy it, we'll make a couple bucks, right?
It cost us $20 to make and maybe we'll make 30. We're up 10.
Yeah, so I mean, Steam, the more we do this podcast, the more I realize that Steam needs a smack in the face. They need to have some form of minimum requirements and guidelines to allow publishers to put content on Steam. Because really, it's just cheapening the platform.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
For example, if you pressed escape and you tried to save, you couldn't save. There was no save. There was no, if you died, you would just reload from the beginning. If you even pressed escape and then hit continue or tried to escape again, it just started you at the beginning again. Steam should have minimum requirements that don't allow games like this on Steam, period. This isn't a matter of like a super meat shooter where it's like, hey, they clearly put a little effort in and they tried to make something.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't very good, but they at least put some effort into it. There was no effort here whatsoever.
No, it was just a rip, eh?
It was a recycle of assets from other games or from free downloads or something. There was nothing good to say about this game.
It's a shame.
The combat system didn't work. So I took it upon myself to just walk in a straight line as far as I possibly could. And I ended up finding an area with lower resolution textures.
Oh, dear.
Where you could kind of walk through the ground and just see into the nothingness beneath the
is that
the
what
ground.
that screenshot was?
The screenshot was, yeah. And I was hoping that I was actually made it my life's goal in the game to find a part of the map that didn't have a collider so I could fall through the world and just fall in infinitely.
Yeah.
I tried actually jumping off of the top of where the castle is. There's no fall damage in the game.
Oh.
There's no drops. So you kill the mobs, there's no drops. There's no item system, there's no inventory. So I mean, this game has nothing. Like it is literally a contentless game.
It's almost more of a tech demo.
Yeah, not even. I mean, there's nothing of interest or intrigue to do. So graphics and art, 3 out of 10.
You're moving like you don't.
Gameplay,
You're
0 out
done
of
with
10.
this game.
Yeah. Like this was
0
just
out of
terrible.
10.
Gameplay 0 out of 10.
Oh,
There's
God.
nothing you can do in this game. You can't.
ET even got a 1.
Yeah, right. No, there's nothing that you can do there.
Like, you are angry about this game. Oh man.
Fun 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
wow.
angry. I mean, I definitely. I mean, I put in the 59 minutes.
Yeah, there you
Right.
go. We got our 84 cents back.
It's a general rating 0 out of 10 game simply because there's literally nothing that you can do. You cannot play it. Stamp of approval, absolutely nothing whatsoever. Now, one of the people that I asked to critique our podcast came back and had a couple of notes for us on
Wonderful.
other things that we should consider when talking about the games. Instead of graphics, he kind of suggested we talk about the art style. And I do have graphics / art in the rating, but kind of mentioned that, focusing more on the art style, rating the art style would be good.
Okay, I agree with that. And to speak to that point, it's something I generally try to do anyway. Because a game made with a 90s aesthetic or a pixel aesthetic is not going to be as smooth as, say, an Unreal 5 AAA title, right?
Yeah, I agree. He also mentioned music. And
music makes a game.
Yeah, I didn't really go into any depth of the music in any of the prior games we looked at. And I think it's just the music didn't really hit. It didn't stand out, maybe. Music has to be there. It'll definitely be a standout if it's not there.
Yeah, and to that point, sound design is super important because an enemy grunts, they're about to do something. You hear the footsteps walking, something's coming closer. So I can get behind that idea. Sound design, music is integral to the experience, especially in modern day genres.
Yeah, no, so I agree. So this game, as far as music goes, they probably just downloaded an asset and were playing it. The challenge with this game was that it was the same piece of music just on repeat the entire game.
Oh, like do 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 do.
Yeah, it was just painful. So music, again, no effort was put in, 0 out of 10.
Boo.
There's nothing really more to say about Viking Warrior except that Steam needs to have better guidelines as to the junk that they're allowing on their platform. And don't get me wrong, I want to release some junk on their platform at some point.
Yeah.
But if I release anything on their platform, it's going to be playable. It's going to have basic necessities like save, inventory, story. It's going to have a point.
Yeah.
I refuse to release anything on early access unless it is polished and playable.
Yeah, no, and I agree with what you're saying. There is something to be said about a completely democratized platform where anybody can release anything, but Steam, as the sort of largest storefront, kind of has a responsibility. If you're looking for jank, you go somewhere else. Steam, as sort of the big one, kind of has a responsibility to its user base to make sure that what you're putting out is at the very least playable. And whether or not it's good, that's not Steam's place to judge, but there should be some enforceable rules, like does it have a save system? Does it have a interactive menu? Does it have at least enough content, right?
I would argue Steam should judge.
Oh?
I would argue that Steam should have a set of criteria that they look at a game and they at least say, hey, our Steam team puts this game kind of here in the ballpark. And I think that if, in general, the game is absolute, terrible, unplayable garbage, it should be put on the wall of shame on Steam.
Yeah, Steam
and the
will
publisher
not
should
release
be
this game.
blacklisted. They should be, I think Steam could do more.
Maybe have two separate storefronts. Like the one store is like, this is Steam. And then the other one will be like, this is not curated in any sense.
Right. This one is Steam and this one is steamy piles of garbage. Yeah.
Man, this game got you tweaked. Oh, boy.
I just, like, E.T. wasn't this bad.
E.T. wasn't.
No.
Do you hear that? E.T., the game that ended up in a landfill.
Yeah, I mean, I gave E.T. A 1 out of 10 general rating. Again, the game had a point. It had direction. It was impossible to really go anywhere or do anything. I'm sure the game can be beaten probably relatively easily. But yeah, I just think, hey, Steam, if you're listening, or if anyone that works at Steam ever gets a hold of this recording, please know I am available.
I will be the curator.
You have a lot of money. I would be more than happy to help you filter out the junk from your platform.
I'd have a team of 20.
And I absolutely would not secretly put all the best jank on my curator list. Absolutely would not do that.
I would. You can't trust me with anything, Steam. Don't hire me. I will. Woof, it will be bad so fast.
Yeah, so Age of Pyramids, it's funny because I actually gave Age of Pyramids a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, because Age of Pyramids for you felt it was more of a demo.
It was more of a demo,
Yeah.
and I treated it kind of like a demo. This game was just not playable. There was nothing you could do. I saw one Steam review. Somebody mentioned that they had been able to like beat the first world, the second world, the third world, and kind of compared it to some other games that they'd obviously and clearly stolen assets from. So yeah. Anyway, Viking Warrior. Don't play it. Don't buy it. I'll add some reviews on my Steam account to tell people the same and avoid it like the plague. This publisher should be blacklisted and not allowed to publish games.
Wow. strong feelings and emotions.
It just wastes everybody's time,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I get it.
It's one thing to put effort into a game and have it fail.
Yeah.
It's another thing to put no effort into a game knowing that it's going to fail.
Yeah.
Right?
No, fair enough. And,
yeah.
And I have the same opinion about B-movies because I love me a good B-movie.
Me too. And you know what? I really loved watching you play Dark Souls and just kind of being able to look over your shoulder because normally where we sit, I can't see you playing.
Oh, yeah?
But I could see you playing, and it was actually a lot of fun while I was running in a straight line to break them out.
At some points, I was like out of my chair almost.
It was good. Yeah, I saw your frustration growing and mounting. And so I'm really curious about your experience with Dark Souls 3.
Okay. This is gonna get a little real and a little the frustration is true. Like that first intro boss was I hate it. Because I don't if you've never played the Dark Souls series or anything like that, the way it's structured is extremely punishing. A low-level grunt like the first intro enemy, if you do not take it seriously, can and will kill you. And they death by 1,000 cuts. Like if you take 2 or 3 hits in one fight, 2 or 3 hits in the next fight, pretty soon you're talking real damage, and you have a limited amount of restorative items. And going to the big restoration, the bonfire, resets the entire area. So it is quite literally get good, lol, or get good nub, you know. And that boss fight, oof, 2, 3 hits. 4 if you're in a big tankier setup, and you're done. All right? And you have to hit him a million times. Well, okay, it wasn't a million times, but you have to hit him quite a bit, comparatively speaking. And at the halfway point, he goes into his ultra form. And that's horrifying for a new... Like, if I had never played a video game before in my life, and this happened to me, I'd be like, I'm never playing a video game again. And then this is where I get mad, because I did it. I beat that first boss, and all that frustration and anger and just general, like, this is stupid. Why would anyone ever do that? Just came pouring out, and it was cathartic. It was like bliss. And then I probably got killed by a jerk with a katana, but that's besides the point.
But yeah, it's actually funny because those games where frustration builds and builds and builds and builds, when you finally do the thing.
When you finally crack it.
You finally beat the boss. That all converts to happy feelings where you're like, yes!
Yeah!
I did this really hard thing and I feel great about
I feel amazing. There's other things that's like, but we're not going to talk about those in polite company. But oh God, yeah. And then what's interesting is now that you've beaten this very difficult first encounter, the game gave you the level up. The game gave you the item upgrades. The game gave you all these things. And you haven't, like, it's not free. You still have to work towards it. You spend the currency, which is souls. You spend your soul currency and other items you accumulate. But it was interesting how the designers, and in direct contrast to Viking Warrior, which I think was hard by accident, nothing the designers did was on accident. Everything had a purpose. There were even parts of the map that were like, oh, it's just a map. But it's like, yeah, but the way these stairs curve mean that the enemies who hold their weapon in this hand can't attack. They have to go all the way around the curve, right? Like the old style castle stairwells, right? Mm-hmm. They were designed so enemies wouldn't be as able to attack defenders.
Yeah, and if you're really smart, you designed it so that you'd be going up to the right, all the way up.
Yeah, right.
Because most people are right-handed, and so they would be at a massive disadvantage. And the people coming down the staircase defending would be at the advantage because they're free to swing their right arm.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is also, funnily enough, why the British are on the left-hand side of the road. It's because that way they would have their right hand free if they approached another traveler.
I like it, yes. Yeah. You could do those drive-by high fives.
Drive-by high five, yes. But yeah, so art style, it's very dark, it's very muddy. It's not what I like, but it is gorgeous. Like the broken structures, this is a world that used to be something and now it's in decline, and that's interesting to me. I don't know if I love it, but I will tell them I'm not going to say it's bad. So it's definitely going to be a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for me. Let's go 7 out of 10 because I'm well aware my personal bias might be pushing it a little bit lower.
No, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think that while the textures and the overall design of the characters and the 3D models are, in my opinion, 10 out of 10. I think that the washed out colors, the lack of vibrancy, really, while it definitely lends to the atmosphere they're trying to create, it does kind of detract. They could have made a beautiful Dark Souls game. It didn't need to be, they could have more dark and deep corners. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily need to be practically black and white.
Yeah, it didn't need to be as muddy as it was, but again, that was a choice they made, and I don't disagree with it. It's just not to my taste. And then what else we got here?
All right, so music.
Muzak, which is
anything stand out on the audio for you.
Yeah, no, gorgeous music. The boss battles had that big, like, epic choir orchestra going on in the back.
The crescendo.
The crescendos, the environmental, like just the average music playing was good. Sound design, excellent. Like between the sound and the audio and the visual cues, I always knew when an enemy was about to attack. How that attack played out, that's more on my end and my reflexes than anything. So I would actually go ahead and go as far as saying 10 out of 10 on this one.
Oh,
it
very
was
cool.
amazing. It was beautiful. I could listen to the OST.
And I think anything I've seen or played from Software, the work they do into creating the environment, the music always plays a very clear role in that. And I think it is important. Yeah,
it's very important.
Like good music can make a bad movie tolerable.
John Williams, man.
John Williams can make any movie tolerable.
Like let's be fair here. The stuff he's put out. What's next? So
gameplay. What did you think about the actual? Now you are on keyboard and mouse, so you were probably at a bit of a disadvantage.
I mean, there were some interesting things like there are buttons mapped to change your offhand and your main hand, which is handy. Like if you want to go to your shield or your spell or whatever. But on a controller, it's your D-pad, right? Left, right, up, down. On the keyboard, it's your actual arrow keys. So that means you have to take your hand off of your mouse to activate the arrow keys and then back. And while that's not a problem, it does mean that in like the combat, you definitely you can't really you back up, go fast, and then go in again. But it's not as fluid as a controller would be. But I am a confirmed keyboard player. Love the keyboard and mouse. But that's mostly because FPSs are where I live.
And I'm with you. I've been a keyboard mouse player for the longest time. I think I've actually gotten into online arguments with people that keyboard and mouse is superior to.
And you know what? In almost every context, it is. The only place where I could see a controller doing better than a keyboard and mouse was the adventure Dark Souls games.
You know, I actually connected my PlayStation 3 controller through a janked out Bluetooth driver that was unofficial on my last PC to play Rocket League.
Oh, there you go.
And playing Rocket League with a controller was a much better experience. So I'm not opposed, but I haven't been able to find a controller that I like.
See, there's a problem. And on that note, for gameplay, it's like it's 3 out of 10 until you beat the thing, and then it's 7 out of 10. So there's a weird jump, and I think I'm going to err on the side of caution and say 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Again, I don't like being punished in my games, and for me, that brief moment of elation was not worth the 45 minutes. Because we played for an hour.
Yep. And you died how many times?
I died 9, 10. But the kick was, of that hour, 45 minutes of it was spent frustrated.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes was spent, yay, I beat it. Right? So the payoff isn't worth it to me, but I can understand why people do get that payoff.
And I think if you played the game longer, I think if you played the game for, say, 20 hours.
Yeah.
I think you'd probably find that overall the gameplay is probably a higher rating, but every time you come up against a new boss, you're going to get punished again.
You're learning the new rhythm. You're learning the new whatever.
Yeah. And I know there are gamers out there that are like, yeah, you guys just are...
You suck.
You guys just suck at
games. And you know what? Sure.
Totally. And I will take that because I'm a casual gamer. Yeah. I enjoy Skyrim because I can load it up and put it down whenever I want. If a quest's too hard, I go do something else for a while.
Yeah.
Eventually, I get to a level cap where I can beat everything easily.
Because you put in the time and now you get to reap the rewards.
But I did play Elden Ring for 40 hours.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a place for these punishing games. I just think it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't disagree. And I think the only reason I got as far as I did in Bloodborne, which is the one I played quite a bit of, was because I just loved that sort of setting, the sort of urban Victorian gas lamp, Cthulhu Lovecraft setting.
And I love that setting as well. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Time Machine, because it's in that Victorian English setting at the start of the movie, and it's kind of that steampunk almost vibe. And I do quite enjoy that. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So did you have fun?
Yes.
Because we got this fun rating out of 10.
We do have a fun rating. And you know what? It went back and forth. When I was doing good, I was like feeling so awesome about myself. And the reason I felt so awesome about myself was because when I was doing bad, I felt so angry. So like it's interesting that the game set itself up like that.
Yeah, and I think there was a point there where I could see the veins popping out of your head, and I was like, I felt like Nappa was there going, Vegeta, what's his power level?
It's over 9,000!
It's over 9,000! You know, I was pretty adamant there that you were going to go Super Saiyan on me.
There was that brief moment, like, you were there for both of them when I got him to below half health that first time.
Yeah.
And he goes into super mode.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you almost got him. And I looked at you, I was like, yeah, I did.
I got asked though, at one point I saw you kind of like put both your hands on the desk and kind of push away from the desk a little bit. And like you were just like, I am done. I have had enough of this. Now you went back.
I did go back, yes.
And that was about 25 minutes in.
Yes. Well, the first class I played was the Pyromancer, which is supposed to be like this sort of flame slinging with like hybrid battle wizard class, right? And I fundamentally misunderstood how the magic for the Pyromancer worked. I was thinking fire bolts or something, like more of a ranged attack, but it was really more like a little fire wave, so more akin to a shotgun blast. And the range was like non-existent, so you're better off in melee. So that frustrated me because I'm trying to use magic and one-handed an axe, so I was trying to hybridize that fighting style. And everything in Dark Souls is clunky. Like your swings are clunky, your magic attacks are clunky, and I think that is a purposeful game design choice. Like they chose that. And I'm sure that there are like the rapier or the katana or something where the attacks aren't that clunky.
Yeah.
And I don't know for sure, but I'm sure there are less clunky attacks, more smooth attacks. And that wasn't what I thought I was playing, right? So that step away was me going, my approach is fundamentally flawed. I'm not succeeding. I need to go back with a different. So I re-rolled as a herald, which starts with a spear. And that felt better for what I want to do in this game with my attacks. And yeah, I did. I enjoyed it a lot more.
Well, I find it amazing because you can play a strategy game and lose and lose and lose over and over and over again.
Over and over.
And come back at it with a clear head and change your strategy and rethink it. But when it's like a fighting game, it's a lot harder to go, well, I need to go back and rethink my strategy and change what I'm doing and really change my approach. And I think that's where Dark Souls shines, is where they kind of say, well, you're not going to be able to just come into this game and mash buttons and win. This is not a button masher. This is not Mortal Kombat.
It was not a button masher. And I'm for those of you in the know, I come from a very old fighting background for fighting games, and like I was semi-competitive for Soul Blade, not even Soul Calibur, and Soul Blade was the arcade machines, right? And then the Soul Calibur series and all of that. So for fighting games, I love fighting games. You know, that fast input, but Dark Souls will not reward that behavior.
No, it will not. It will punish it severely.
It
will punish you if you're a good gamer. It will punish you if you're a bad gamer.
Yeah. So for fun, you know what? I'm gonna cut it down the middle because they're the one out of tens dominated. There was more 45 minutes of 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then there would be the brief flashes of 10 out of 10. And you can't have the one without the 10. So I'm gonna generously give it a 7.
Wow, okay.
6. Changed my mind.
6 out of 10. Yeah, and I mean, these ratings are very much our subjective opinion on what we believe the game is to us. And I will be honest, I'm not a fan of the Dark Souls genre.
Nope.
Elden Ring was fun. I did end up putting it down at some point and never going back to it.
The expansion's coming out.
Yeah, and I might get back to it. I might get back into it. But it's like, there's certain aspects of it that it's just not my cup of tea. It's just not my type of game. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. It looks great. It runs beautifully. It's well optimized as far as my system's concerned.
Yeah.
Just not my cup of tea.
No, and I having played as much as I did, 1 hour's worth, I can see where people are coming from, where they're like, yeah, but nah.
I think there's a huge group of gamers that really honestly don't mind getting their butts kicked, and they don't mind loss. They don't mind the frustration of the grind of the fight.
Nah.
I'm a high-stress, high-anxiety person. I don't like high-stress, high-anxiety games.
No, absolutely.
They make my blood pressure go up. They make my blood boil. And they make me just kind of want to go play Stardew Valley.
There you go.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you've mentioned that out loud, I'm probably going to go home and reinstall Stardew Valley and just chill.
So, what do you want to give it for your general rating out of 10? And would you give it your stamp of approval?
General rating out of 10, 6.5. My stamp of approval is conditional. Because me personally, I would have no interest in replaying that. I'm not going to pick it up again. I'm not going to revisit it. The highs were not worth the lows to me. But there is a certain person where a brief moment of success after a string of failures is just about the best thing in the world. And I can respect that, and I encourage you, if you're the kind of person that loves to just grind away at it until you get it, you're gonna love this.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Yeah,
if you are a sadist or a masochist, this game is absolutely for you, right?
Absolutely. More along the masochist side, because a sadist, I mean, you could be a sadist and make a friend play it, I guess.
Yeah, not me sitting here Googling the difference between sadist and masochist. Basically, inflicting pain or humiliation on others would be the sadist.
Yep, after the Marquis de Sade
would be having it inflicted upon them.
Yeah.
So if you are indeed a masochist, or you are a sadist and you like to watch someone play the game, then definitely Dark Souls is for you. Now, I will go back and play Dark Souls 3 at some point.
Yeah, you can just jump on my save.
I'm definitely going to skip the first boss, thanks to Aaron. But, I do want to experience this 9 out of 10, 8, experience that everyone talks about. And there are times when I'm a little more resilient in the games that I'm playing, that I want a bigger challenge. I want something that isn't just the easy grind or whatnot. I'll come back to Dark Souls 3. I think I will. I definitely will never, ever, ever play Viking Warrior again after today.
What?
I know. Sad, right?
But what if Viking Warrior, producer of Viking Warrior, hears us and says, well, I'm going to fix some of these problems?
Nope.
Oh,
no.
He had his chance.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's like if you were to go to a car dealership and buy a car, and they said to you, this car is great. It's on the lot with all the other cars. You go, hey, this looks interesting. I'll take it for a spin. You give them the cash. You drive it off the lot. All the wheels fall off. The engine light's on fire and it burns to the ground. Would you buy from that dealership again? I don't think so.
No, but I would get a refund.
Yes.
Which, speaking of which, Steam just processed it. I got that 84 cents back. Don't you worry.
Fair enough. I think what we should do is we should ask people to start taking bets or emailing in their bets.
Oh, yeah.
Our email will be at the end of the thing here.
Yeah.
But place your bets for how long it's going to take before Aaron and mine's Steam accounts get flagged for processing too many refunds in a short period of time. Because we will refund the crappy games, and I think we're in our rights to do that. I am buying, I bought Titanfall 2. I did not refund it. I have been playing a little bit. And I will play through that game at some point as time allows.
You know what? Let me know when you do, because I would love to play. Oh, well, the multiplayer is kind of in shambles, but I would love to play some of the multiplayer with that, because it is. I loved the Titanfall series. I felt it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I noticed that our recording that we plop onto the end of our episodes says to check out our Patreon, but doesn't say where it is.
Oh dear. Well, it's on Patreon.
For today's episode and maybe future episodes, I will drop that if you are interested in getting early access to our episodes or getting some bonus content that I'm going to be slowly slogging through and putting up there, especially once we start getting some members and I'll start putting a little more attention onto the extra content. Things like our pre-banter. We do try to keep the mics on as often as possible so that we can capture some of that kind of unintentional magic.
Yeah, the in-game and pre-banters and even our after-show stuff, because just because we've signed off doesn't mean we've stopped talking, and sometimes we get into some weird stuff.
Yeah. So check us out on patreon.com/basement faults and catapults.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And is there anything else we want to throw out there?
I mean, wherever you're listening to us, thank you for taking the time. We're on Spotify, we're on Audible. And yeah, if you feel like we're doing a fun job, and right now it would mean the world to us if you recommended us to friends. Just spread the word, and we would love to see you guys next time.
Yeah, and pretty soon we're going to get our Discord channels set up and provide some opportunity for people to interact as well if they are eventually Patreon members. You know, we're very early on, so we're not trying to shill too hard.
Yeah, we're not too concerned right now with all of that. We're just more excited that we're doing it.
But we want to interact. We want to get more people listening and interacting and get some good and bad recommendations for games. So
check out our Discord, which hopefully we'll have up by next episode. And then also, you know, we're planning on eventually getting Twitch and maybe even some TikTok stuff. It's very early days for us, and we're just really excited to be here.
Yeah, this is officially episode 6. By the time you hear this episode, we will likely be recording episode 10, and we will likely do a Twitch live stream of our gaming and gameplay starting around episode 10 ish, and probably do some extended gameplay. Really kind of provide some opportunities for fun, excitement, and hopefully some good banter.
Yeah, and interaction. Interaction is what we're here for. So thank you, and we'll see you next time on the Catapult.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and get out there, play some games.
But not Viking Warrior.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's our time and the end of our episode.
But don't feel sad it's over. Be glad it happened. From the two of us in the basement, thanks for tuning in.
Join us next time.
And feel free to send us any feedback on our socials or send us a direct email at bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
And if you're really interested in what we're doing, join us on Patreon, where we will have loads of behind-the-scenes stuff and uncut takes as more episodes are released.
We're always excited to hear from you because we love engagement. We look forward to our next Catapult launch and hope you can join us for the ensuing chaos.
Good luck.
See you next time.
Like, don't take this the wrong way, but I'd really be frightened to see the basements of some of these designers.
It's like that really popular video on TikTok when it first launched, where it's like, you want to know how to grow your own mushrooms, and it's like this creepy guy that you're like, that guy's gonna murder you.
Yeah, don't follow him into his mushroom cave.
Right.